Hello everyone, Shadow Knight here to cure your boredom of the day. Quickly, before we get into this video, I just want to explain where Elden Ring has been. So, I'm officially entering late game, and after this video, and during this video's making, some of these bosses get really hard and just take me like a week and a half to actually go and beat. Per day, I could probably put like an hour in, which is crazy. So, please be patient with me. I also did take 3 weeks off from making Elden Ring videos. I do have a lot on back storage. I just got to make them. So, be ready for that. So, let's get into the video. This journey starts with me thinking I can go kill Mohg, Lord of Blood, easily. And that nothing can go wrong. So I use the Pure Blood Knight Medallion and run from the spot that it spawns you in, spot up and around the corner, through the cave, and right up the pillar, up to Mohg, and enter the cutscene. Before we get into this cutscene is a little bit disturbing for some of you guys. If you don't like blood or a little bit of creepy foreshadowing and stuff like that, please skip ahead just a little bit. Or if you want to man up to your fears, go ahead.
Dearest Mikola, you must abide alone a while. Welcome, honored guest, to the birthplace of our dynasty.
But you can basically think how this boss went when this guy does over half my health and can still one-shot me. And on top of that, I'm still fat rolling. I haven't done any leveling up yet. So, yeah. So we'll touch on Mohg in a little bit. Go do what I said I was going to do in the last episode. Let's go to the capital. So before we can even touch the doorstep of the capital, we have to kill the Draconic Tree Sentinel. If you've been watching the series, you should know that this fight was easy, especially since between the Mohg and this clip, I did some little off-camera rune farming, which all of my rune farming is off-camera because I don't want you to sit here for 12 hours and watch me shoot a bird and wait for it to fall off a cliff and rinse repeat. Because that's really boring. After his inevitable defeat, we get to the first grace. And you won't believe what happens. Our maiden decides to leave us. You would think now we are maidenless, but we do have Ronnie. Why did I put a winky face in my script? When she finally leaves, we are able to advance further into the capital, and we run into an Erd Tree Guardian, where after dying a whole bunch, I get sick and tired of him and just run past him. When it finally de-aggroes, we find ourselves climbing up the Erd Tree roots and getting chased into this room. We find ourselves in this room, and all of a sudden, Godfrey, the first Elden Lord, appears. And this is just his spirit, not the actual Godfrey, which I learned on later on, which was kind of weird. So after purposely dying, I go back in and summon the Mimics here so he can tank all of the damage from him. and then I absolutely devastatedly destroyed him. And after I grabbed myself the 4th talisman pouch and an achievement, because I am going after all achievements now. But after that, we run off to the left and run down some steps and grab myself the Bolt of Gransax. Sadly, I need 40 decks, so what do? So, I'm going to give you 30 seconds on the clock. Is it A, we grind out runes, or is it B, we respec with Renala? And doon. And that's right, I'm going to have to respec with Renala. And here I am, respecing strength, basically going into a very endurance, vigor, strength, and dex focus build. So because my equip load is now outrageously high, I'm forced to wear the Preceptor's big hat. Because I didn't have anything else, because if I use Radahn's helmet, it would be way too much. And I ain't having that. I ain't fat rolling no more. I don't need to. So, obviously, I have to use... So, right, after getting the Bolt of Gransax, we got to go beat up Mog, right? Or try it against Mog, the current boss I'm stuck on. And here's the first fight. So, when Mog goes second phase, he activates this thing called the Lord of Blood's Curse. But I do have something in the flask that actually cancels it out. So, I don't take damage from it. Which is the worst part about Mog. But sadly still got clapped. Anyway, in the recording software between this next clip and then the previous one, I actually split in two / I have 2 different clips. So in between these 2 clips, I actually grinded out more runes so I can have 60 endurance, so I can use the whole Rudahn set, which was actually cool. And I actually really like the whole Radahnn set. But anyway, this clip starts off at the site of Grace, where we actually beat up Godfrey. So we go up the corner and up the route around the bend and up the stairs. Find ourselves facing a site of Grace. Grab the site of Grace, go up the stairs, grab the Fog Gate, and here we have to fight Margaret, the Omen King. Where for the actual fight, I'll be quiet so I can do it. Beginning cutscene and then the actual fight. So enjoy that.
Graceless, tarnished. What is thy business with these thrones? Godric the Golden. The twin prodigies, Mikola and Melania. General Radahn. Praetor Rykard. Luna Princess Rani. Willful traitors, all. Thy kind are all of a piece. Pillagers, emboldened by the flame of ambition. Have it writ upon thy meager grave. Felled by King Morgoth, last of all kings.
Boom! Now we are up to the very entrance of the Erdtree. But wait, we can't get in because the thorns are too thick. So we go back to the set of grace that drops right when we kill God. Right when we kill Margaret. And our maiden shows back up. I knew she would come back. She instructs us that there is a way to get into the Erdtree by burning it, but we need a flame. We need the flame of the giants from the giant's forge. And place a marker on where to go to be able to get to that. So now we go to that location, but right before I get to it, I take a little detour. Remember how we killed Margaret just a second ago? Well, he gave us his great rune, so we have to activate it. But right before we can even get to this hour, we have to kill the Fell twins. We mark them very easily, by the way, and we run up the tower to activate the Great Rune and activate the Great Rune. After activating Margaret's Great Rune and completely ignoring it, Godric and Radahn's Great Rune are broken, and you can't even change my mind on that because they are. After activating Margaret's Great Rune, we arrive at a site of grace, the Grand Lift of Rold. And you're probably asking yourself, how are we going to activate this Grand Lift because we don't have a medallion? But remember how the maiden came to us and told us where to go? Yeah, she gave us the medallion. I forgot to mention that. So we hoist up the medallion, and this brings us up to the mountaintops of the giants. We find the Finger Slayer Yura. Turns out he had his body taken over by something, but we're just gonna ignore that because he didn't do anything. So after a little bit of traveling, we finally find ourselves at the First Church of Marika, where Melina / our maiden, who gives us some lore here, and basically just tells us that we need to keep going forward to be able to get to the Fire Forge. Eventually we make it up to the foothill of the forge, but when we go forward a little bit, we come into contact with the Fire Giant. A bad matchup with his physical attack damage, where he is 95% physical damage resistant, which is absolutely insane, and a really bad matchup for me. So I got the bright idea of actually upgrading my sword, which I decided to do. So we need a few level 6 smithing stones. One of them I found on a corpse in the capital, and after a little bit of parkour, I find another one. Now heading to Mohg's palace, I find another smithing stone. 6 after killing this intruder and dodging this bird. And then at the Grand Cloister, we find both 6 and 7 behind the Scarlet Waterfall. The last smithing stone 6 is on this corpse in the middle of the capital, which I completely forgot to get on my first run through at the very start of this sentence. So now I upgrade my sword to plus 19. And you're probably wondering, that isn't enough smithing stones to be able to get up to plus 19 if you know anything about this game. Yeah, you're right, because I got one of the smithing stones earlier. So now on to smithing stone 7s, where the first one is in Caelid on top of this skull, and I immediately go up, and immediately after grabbing this, I go and upgrade it. Upgrade my sword again. Now we need a few more smithing stone 7s. The first one is in the right, off to the First Church of Marika, and now also I have to have this giant stone guardian thing destroy this other stone statue, and that also gives me a level 7 smithing stone. I'm not going to question it, but I go to EG and get myself I go from plus 20 to plus 22 because I have a few smithing stone 8s in my inventory. Now we have a smithing stone level 8. Now we need smithing stone level 8. And we find one on top of the Moonlight Altar and go up to the plus 23. Now we need to get one more smithing stone level 8 for plus 24. And we find this one in Lindale Sewer, upgrading it to plus 24. And you're thinking, this got to be the max level. No, it's plus 25 is the max level. But we do need a Ancient Dragon Smithing Stone, which is crazy. So apparently, you can get 2. You can get 1/2 at the end of Ophelia Lou's quest line. This exists by helping her beat an Omen Killer out of revenge, telling her stepdad Gideon that she helped them, and he disowns her because she disrupted a plan or something crazy like that. And because she is disowned, she gets very depressed, and you comfort Nefeli with some bird feathers, then being knighted to this noble's posse of knights, it's only me. Then he tells me he's gonna look for a new lord of this land, and then I go tell Nefeli to go look for this noble, and now boom, Nefeli is the new lord of Limgrave, and she gives us an ancient dragon stone because we helped her through all these hard times, and that's okay. But if you look behind the throne, if you didn't kill this guy almost directly after stomping on Godric's face, which I didn't because I thought that was hilarious, he also sells you an ancient dragon smithing stone. So, yay! Now, remember Moog? And how now we have a maxed out greatsword that does so much damage now? Well, let's check out how we do against him now. That's right, I murked him. So, with this new shard, I have to Google where to take it. Turns out, both Moog and Margaret are siblings, so they have the same great tower, or whatever tower they are in. So, riding on that new high of beating Moog and going, I decided to think I can go beat Fire Giant. After many attempts, and my will to throw in the towel, like actually there, I wanted to quit after this, I'm tempted one more time, and I'll let this fight speak for itself. That's right, I beat him. Now, that's all I have time for today. Thank you so much for watching. And if you're up till now, I've made it. If you've made it to this point, I have an announcement. Next week, so Tuesday and Thursday, I will have Elden Ring videos instead of the normal Tears of the Kingdom videos. Of course, there will be one on Saturday, but thank you so much for watching. I love it to death, and goodbye.